The question for this presentation is how difficult is it to get an employment pass in Singapore? Or is it very difficult to get an employment pass in Singapore nowadays? Or more specifically, more related to our main business, what is the situation in cases where a foreign promoter incorporates the company in Singapore and wants to relocate on employment pass to work for that company in Singapore? So, as you know, we are into the business of company incorporation, and obviously, this last point, we are asked this question many times by our client. So, let's have a look in this presentation on these various aspects. But before that, I just want to give a small disclaimer that approval of employment pass is dependent on Ministry of Manpower. So, Ministry of Manpower officers take the decision on it. Their policies are closely guarded, so we don't know about their policies and they don't publicly disclose this. What information I'm presenting here is based on my practical experience in this industry for last few years. So you have to keep that in mind, though I will say that my experience is more or less accurate. So coming to this discussion, let's first understand the general policy, which is quite a logical one. So here I am presenting the population breakup of Singapore as of June 2019, and as you can see here, Singapore citizens are 3.5 million and permanent residents are roughly half a million. So this Singapore citizens plus PR is considered to be a Singapore core of approximately 4 million residents. The non-resident population is 1.68 million, out of which foreign domestic workers, work permit holders, dependent pass holders, students are the majority part. But the employment pass holders are 11% and S pass holders, which is a kind of an employment pass but for semi skilled people. So these people together are 11 and 12%, so roughly 180,000 in each category. So together, these two passes, working passes, are 360,000 in number, and generally there is a feeling that these people take the jobs of Singapore core residents. So based on this, then there are some policies around it. So the first thing is authorities have a responsibility. So authorities means I am referring to Ministry of Manpower and government departments. They have a responsibility to consider the well-being of its citizens and PR first. Now this is obviously logical. Every country will first look for the well-being of their residents. So based on this policy, the regulation or the directions are that for every company, where possible, consider hiring Singaporean or permanent resident first. Now, where it is not possible, maybe that kind of specific talent is not available, or people available in that segment are very low in number. Then, in that case, consider foreign employees. So, here authorities have to balance between people's need to have job and economic activity and the economic activity of Singapore in general that needs to be balanced. So if you concentrate too much on people needs and close the employment pass route significantly or you reduce the number of approvals drastically, then companies may feel that it's very difficult to work in Singapore and they may look for alternative options, and obviously that will mean that they may move out of Singapore. Whereas if you take another extreme where you give importance only to economic activity and approve employment passes in mass, then the local people will not get a job and then they will have some resentment. So authorities try to balance in these two objectives, and that is where all this approval issue or whether it is approved or not comes into picture. So let's move on to the next one. So according to this policy, then generally, the job, if it is in the low or middle management in the sectors like general trade, retail, customer service, support, infocom, real estate, insurance, manpower. So, this is an indicative list. But in general industries, if the job is in middle or low management level where lot of Singaporeans and permanent residents are available to work, then in that circumstances, employment pass for these jobs is not likely to get approved. But if the job is in newer technologies, information technology, artificial intelligence, blockchain, media, international trade, maybe some higher aspects of financial technologies, medical research, then in that circumstances, it is likely that Singapore core may not have enough people who can do this job. But does that mean that Singapore should give up those opportunities? Obviously not. And therefore, if the employment pass application is for a job in this sector, then that employment pass is likely to get approved. Additionally, if there are higher level skills in the traditional areas, so on the left hand side, what we spoke was preferred for Singaporean and PR. But if there is a higher level skill required in those traditional areas, then in that case also employment pass may get approved. What is the example of higher level skills? So let's take off customer service. Now in customer service section, many Singaporeans and permanent residents may be available for doing the job. But let's say that a company is setting up a big customer service department and they need a director to head those operations of say customer service department of 150 people. And if they don't find a person with those suitable skills, then in that circumstances they can obviously apply for a foreign talent to be brought in on the employment path, and that may get approved without any issues. So this is generally the policy. So then let's have a look at what factors influence the EP approval in general. So there are four factors. First is the employing company background and the capital in that company. So if the employing company has a strong background, well-known, renowned name, and the capital is also reasonable, then that is considered as a positive factor. If the job for which you are bringing in a foreign talent is a skill in demand, for example, as I said, IT, artificial intelligence, media, marketing, digital marketing, and so on. Whether the employed candidate has a reasonable background, so the person you are planning to bring in on employment pass, does that candidate has a good background and a strong skills in that area? And the last factor is what is the salary being offered to that candidate, because salary will indicate the seniority of the employee. Normally, if you are bringing in a very junior employee, you will not pay high salary. So salary is also one of the critical component. So all these factors together will decide the outcome of the employment pass approval decision. So it is not correct to generalize that employment passes are difficult to get. As you now have seen, it entirely depends upon the sector, skills, company, and salary. Now there is one more requirement. So what Ministry of Manpower has done, they have made it straightforward. Rather than making it very subjective, where ministry will decide only on the cases, they have got a fair consideration framework. What that means is employer needs to advertise job on government website for 14 days, and when you file, if you don't find a candidate, suitable candidate in these 14 days, or if there are not enough applications, then you can proceed for employment pass application for a suitable foreign candidate, and you can provide the details at the time of EP application filing. So you will provide the reference of your job number in that. So Ministry of Manpower officers will check on that job and how many people applied and what their profile was. And then it is easier to decide whether the employment pass should be approved or not. Now this is not required for every company. Some companies are exempted, and those companies are if your company has fewer than 10 employees, if the fixed monthly salary of the job that you are going to recruit is more than 20,000, indicating a very high level specialized skill, if the vacancy is to be filled by an intra corporate transferee, that is, a person is coming from the parent company to work in Singapore, or the vacancy is short term. So, if any of this condition is satisfied, you will not have to advertise the job. Though, in general, it is recommended that you advertise and give a proof that people applied were not suitable for the job. So, typically, what happens when a new company is incorporated and the promoter is relocating to Singapore, they don't have to necessarily advertise this job, because it will be either under the case 1 or case 3, that is, company has fewer than 10 employees, and also it might be in some cases on intra corporate transfer. So now we come to the another question asked in this presentation, and which relates more to our area of business, where a foreign promoter is incorporating a company and wants to relocate on employment path to Singapore. What is the situation? Will the Ministry of Manpower approve it or not, and what are the chances, and whether it is very difficult? So again here the same four factors will be considered, like employing company background and capital. So since it is a new company, most probably employing company does not have any background, established background, and capital also might be less. But in that circumstances, you can maybe show the parent company background, whether the company is operating in the sector in demand, what is the employed candidate background. So the person is going to be employed, does he have the strong background in the domain area in which the company is going to work, and the salary that this employed candidate will draw. So again, all these factors will be considered, and if 2 to 3 factors are in favor, then generally the application will be considered favorably and employment pass approval decision will be taken. Another way to look at this situation is that the scenario is like this: a person is starting a venture. So he is not taking up any existing job in Singapore. He is starting a company and starting a business. He is bringing in maybe 50,000, 60,000, or something like that capital, which he is going to spend in Singapore on various economic activities like maybe rental of office space, advertising, and something related to that. If successful, this company will create maybe more economic opportunities, and maybe within a year, 2 or 3 job opportunities will be created for local Singaporean people. So, in that circumstances, if everything else is okay, should the employment pass be granted or rejected? I guess most of the people will understand that in that circumstances, this employment pass may be looked with a favorable attitude. So, in general, when the employment pass application is for a new company where the promoter's background is strong and the sector is in demand or the salary is at least good, either of this, the chances of approval are reasonably good, in my opinion. So, in summary, you cannot generically say that employment passes are difficult to obtain. As you have seen in this presentation, it entirely depends on your specific case. In some cases, it is quite straightforward process, whereas in some cases they may not get approved at all.
Thank you for watching this video. This video was brought to you by Epica Consulting Singapore. Subscribe to our channel today to get notified when new videos are posted.